السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه ثم أما بعد رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. As Brother Raja said, my name is Hamzah Elhabashy. Alhamdulillah, started from a very young age. My father would say before I was born. I say when I was 4. The reason why he actually says before I was born was because he would always recite the Quran around my mother when I was, not here yet. And Alhamdulillah, actually, in the delivery room, Surah Al-Baqarah was recited for each of my siblings, myself included. And Alhamdulillah, that's why he says the Quran journey began before me. Alhamdulillah, I started memorizing, Qiroat by Sheikh Hamzah, I'm sure you guys know him. He was my first teacher. I started going to him at the Lower Masjid, ICCL, I think is the name. When I was around 3 or 4 years old, I would go to him and try to get the Qiroat down as well as I could. So the alphabet, Lam, Alif, Ba, Alif, Ba, all that stuff. And Alhamdulillah, by the time I was, I'd say 5, I was reading broken Arabic or broken Quran, but I was getting it. And Alhamdulillah, my father was very keen on having us only speak Arabic in the household. He's originally born in Egypt. He's been here a majority of his life. But Alhamdulillah, he was very, till this day, very keen on us speaking in only Arabic. To the point that when I was younger, I would speak to him in English. He wouldn't look at me. And so I was like, man, this guy doesn't know English. Like, he just doesn't know English. And so I was forced to speak in Arabic. And Alhamdulillah, I wouldn't have it any other way. During this young age, 4 or 5-ish years old, Qiroat as well as writing Arabic. So there's these little books. You guys probably have them in the school here. They're just like follow the dotted line, right? Like follow the dotted line of each letter until it becomes a word, like Allah, you follow the dotted line, so on and so forth, until you get to like La ilaha illallah in the book. And that day was a tough day, where I had to follow the line of La ilaha illallah. But Alhamdulillah, we continued that journey, and that's how it started. By the time I was around 8 years old, I had around 4 or 5 ajza memorized. And that is when my dad asked me if I wanted to attend hifz school, like a full-time memorization school. And for some reason, I don't even remember this conversation. Alhamdulillah, I said yes. Alhamdulillah. And it worked out. I ended up going to, I left public school. I was in elementary school. I left spring break of 3rd grade. I went to Al-Huda hifz school. My teacher was Sheikh Hamzah. And Alhamdulillah, I finished at the age of 10. That was in 2013, right? 2013, 2012? 2012, when Sheikh Jibreel came in. And I remember in that ceremony actually, and the ceremonies before mine, where people would finish the Quran, Sheikh Harun would come, Sheikh Hamzah, he would come to the little party, and he would say, MashaAllah, we congratulate the Hafiz, and this is such a great journey, and all that. But, and I was like, but? Like after all this, there's a but? And he would say, the journey begins now, right? And I was like, man. So after all these tears, after all the long car rides, all the long nights, early mornings, there's still more, like this is the beginning, like all that happened is just, like that's just a prerequisite, and it really is, subhanAllah, it really is. The journey begins with the memorization of the Quran. It truly does say that, you don't have to memorize the Quran, you just, like tadabbur and thinking about it is just enough. And it's better for you to just understand one ayah than it is to memorize the whole Quran, or recite the whole Quran. Sure, of course, tadabbur is extreme, the whole point is to understand the Quran and apply it, that's the entire point. But memorization is arguably a prerequisite. There's no way you're going to understand Surah Al-Fatiha without memorizing it. Have you memorized Surah Al-Fatiha? Inshallah you have. And you can't understand it fully without actually memorizing it. And every time you recite Surah Al-Fatiha, there might be a new meaning that comes upon you. And that's just how the Quran is, from cover to cover. The entire Quran is like that. Even in schools. Like I know there are a lot of young guys here. You all probably know what the slope-intercept form is, right? Y equals mx plus b, right? We all know y equals mx plus b. You couldn't solve the slope without having that formula. And you all have it ingrained in you. Like you all have that, you have that formula memorized, right? So in order to find that answer that you're looking for, you have to use the formula that you've memorized. So memorizing the Quran is just the beginning. You have to memorize, or not have to, but it's extremely, extremely, extremely helpful to memorize whatever you're doing in order to apply what you have. So alhamdulillah, I finished at the age of 10. And I started, my first competition, Quran competition ever, was when I was 12 at ISNA. The ISNA convention was in DC. And alhamdulillah, I won that competition. And then I think at 12 again, actually, I went to Mass ICNA in Chicago. Alhamdulillah, I won that competition. And there was a sheikh there that said I had to get in contact with another sheikh in order to go international. I didn't even know this stuff existed. I had no idea what he was talking about, international competitions. Like it wasn't something that I had, like it wasn't in my plan, but alhamdulillah, it was brought to me from, alhamdulillah, the barakah of Allah. So this sheikh said, find this sheikh named Hassan Abu Nur. I was like, okay, I mean, we're supposed to find this random sheikh out there. And subhanAllah, a few weeks later, this sheikh, there's an announcement on Dawah Taqwa's website saying that there's a khatib that's coming, his name is Sheikh Hamzah Elhabashy. I was like, there's no way this is him. Like, this is the guy I'm looking for. And sure enough, this guy comes, he gives the khutbah, and I speak to him and I say, Assalamu alaikum Sheikh, I was advised to come speak to you because alhamdulillah, I'm trying to compete internationally in Quran competitions. By the way, Quran competitions, just a quick brief breakdown of what it is. You sit on a stage. The Quran is not in front of you. You sit down, there's a panel of judges. They ask you, let's say, 5 questions randomly in the Quran. And you have to continue for the next page and a half off of memory. So they ask you randomly about 5 questions. Randomly, you continue, one with the least mistakes a day. I said, I recite 1 juz a day. He said, you're not hafiz. I was like, okay, thank you, I guess, right? And so he says, you're not a hafiz, recite. I was like, okay, well, that's interesting. So he asks me a question in Surah An-Nisa. And the question, I actually remember the question. It was the 2nd page, Allahu la ilaha illahu, the beginning of the half juz and juz 5. And in that question, I'm reciting to him. This is after the khutbah, just reciting to him, and he corrects me wrong. And I tell him, no, I'm right. And he was like, oh, you are right. Okay, keep going. And then I think that moment was like a game changer for him, alhamdulillah, and he kept asking me more questions, alhamdulillah, I didn't get any wrong. And then he said, okay, after Isha, come meet me. So after Isha, I go and meet him, and he just bombards me with like 15 questions, alhamdulillah, I don't think I made any mistakes. And so he said, okay, I'm going to go back to Connecticut, which is where he's from, and he'll just recite to me, finish the khatmah, finish the whole Quran, finish the ijazah. And he holds a competition, and he held a competition, a national competition. The first place winner goes to this big competition in Dubai. So alhamdulillah, I finished the khatmah on Sheikh Hassan in about a month. And I get my ijazah, alhamdulillah, and hafz on Asim. And I compete in this Connecticut competition. Alhamdulillah, I do win first place. I go to Dubai, this international competition, one of the largest in the world today, alhamdulillah. And I placed 2nd place at the age of 13, representing the US, alhamdulillah. After Dubai, I come back, I finished a khatmah on Sheikh Walid al-Manisi in qiroat Yasin, which is hafz and shu'bah. And then I competed in Malaysia, placed 3rd, alhamdulillah. And then I competed in Tanzania, also placed 3rd. And then competed in Canada, placed 1st. Competed in, I think, Ethiopia. That was an interesting competition, alhamdulillah. And then I competed in Qatar just this past winter. I was there for a few weeks, alhamdulillah, in musabaqat awwal al-awail. beautiful competition, alhamdulillah. Throughout these competitions, I was studying al-qiroat. Now, al-qiroat, it's an extremely in-depth topic. Just very basic. We recite Hafs an Asim, right? And that is one dialect of 20 different dialects that we have today. So, for example, Hafs an Asim. So Hafs recited to Imam Asim, right? Imam Asim has more than 2 students, but the 2 that we know are Hafs and Shu'bah. So Hafs and Shu'bah are the students of Imam Asim. Imam Asim is what we call a qari, right? And there are 10 qurra, which is why we say 10 qiraat. Each qira'ah, so you have, for example, Nafi' is an imam, and then Qalun and Warsh are his 2 students. And then you have Ibn Kathir, Al-Bazzi wa Qumri. And it goes all the way down for 20 riwayat, 10 qira'at, 10 imams, basically. And so during this time I'm reciting to Sheikh Amr Uwaylah, I give my ijazah, alhamdulillah, in the 10 qira'at. And then also reciting to Imam Sheikh Salih Hamd al-Maqsood, where I finished the entire Quran in one khatmah with all 10 qira'at, which I'll inshallah recite in a few minutes. So that's the very basic summarized version of my very small journey. Now there are a few points that I want to just cover briefly. How many of you know Sheikh Hamzah Elhabashy? Sheikh Hamzah Elhabashy, right? Okay. Sheikh Hamzah Elhabashy, there's a little viral video. I don't know if it's viral, if it's just showing up on my feed consistently. But he said, يا بني اعلم أنه لا يهجر القرآن إلا من هان على الله. Oh my son, know that the person that leaves the Quran does not mean a lot to Allah. لا يهجر القرآن. The person that leaves the Quran is someone that doesn't have that much value. فإذا أردت أن تعلم مقامك عند الله فانظر القرآن في حياتك. So if you want to know where you stand with Allah, if you want to know how much you mean to Allah, if you want to know your value in Allah's eyes, look at where the Quran is in your life. And whether that be tadabbur, just understanding, trying to understand, whether that's memorizing, whether that's reciting, just look at where the Quran is in your life. And alhamdulillah, the Apple, right, has a great feature where you can look at the time that you spent on your phone, right? The time that you spent on your phone, it gives you a breakdown by each app, actually. And if you all were to check now, don't check, but if you were to check, some of us have 2 hours, 6 hours, 9 hours of just being on a phone randomly, right? Where we see like half an hour just goes by on accident. And if you put in 20 minutes of those 6 hours into the Quran, into trying to understand the Quran, reading the Quran, that'll change your life. It'll truly change your life. If you were to sit down for 1 hour, grab the Mus'haf, grab the Quran, don't look at your phone, and see how that changes. That 1 hour, see how different you are from the moment you started that 1 hour till the end of that 1 hour. And see how, just try it out. Just try and see how that changes. In Surah Al-Furqan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ يَا رَبِّ. The Prophet ﷺ will come on the Day of Judgment and say, Oh my Lord, إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. My people have neglected this Quran. Oh my Lord, my people have neglected this Quran. We ask Allah not to make us among them. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said that مَنْ لَمْ يَخْتِمِ الْقُرْآنَ فِي كُلِّ شَهْرٍ فَقَدْ هَجَرَهُ. Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said that whoever Muslim doesn't finish the Quran once a month, doesn't finish the Quran once a month, then he has neglected the Quran. That's a scary thing, subhanAllah. So we ask Allah again not to be amongst the people that have neglected the Quran. Allahumma ameen. Now the month of Ramadan is obviously coming upon us. And people would say, finish the Quran in the month of Ramadan. Finish the Quran every month. If you can, finish the Quran every month. Now, a lot of us aren't Arab, don't speak Arabic, haven't gotten the time to learn Arabic. I'll give you a brief personal experience. I know someone personally that took a 60-week course to learn Arabic. This person is from Arizona, American. Took a 60-week program to learn Arabic for what? A job. 60-week program to learn Arabic for a job. Now, this deen, whether we like it or not, is in Arabic. Okay? The Quran is in Arabic. The Hadith are in Arabic. Every tafsir book is in Arabic. If this person, this guy in Arizona, can learn Arabic, the language, for a job, then the responsibility on us to learn this language for our own deen, for our sake in the Day of Judgment, is beyond imagination, right? So yes, it's difficult. By all means necessary, learning a language in itself, difficult. If you are to learn this language, inshallah, for your benefit and for increasing your ibadah, then inshallah Allah will make it easy for you. But it is extremely necessary to learn Arabic, inshallah, if you are trying to get in depth in this deen. And my last point is that I've also recently been seeing a lot of maqamat talk. This is a sensitive topic, but a lot of people, I've been seeing a lot of videos where there's someone reciting. All right, there's a guy reciting, and the caption or the little subtitles on the video aren't the translation of the Quran, but instead it's like jawab, maqam, nahwand, maka, jawab, hijaz. It's very interesting new wave coming where people recite the Quran just to hear a melodious recitation. And people are like, yeah, I feel so emotional about it, and it makes me feel emotional. Yeah. So does music, right? Like music also makes people feel emotional. That's the whole point of music, is to change emotion. So yeah, obviously this guy sounds great, and maqamat, yes, like the hijaz with sika and all that stuff is great. Like it sounds great. But the purpose of the Quran isn't to sound great, it's to understand it. And if this helps you understand, so be it. But the goal is not to hit what maqam, with what jawab, with the right. The point of the Quran is to understand and apply what you've understood. Right? So we broke it down from memorization to understanding, to learning Arabic, to applying the Quran. Inshallah.